John Silver juggles not one, but two wives and a mistress in the acclaimed comedy drama, Enemies, A Love Story. Angelica Houston and Lena Olin star. Next on Prism, your total entertainment channel.
The versatile Angelica Houston struts her stuff in two very different roles this month on Prism. First, Houston casts a wicked spell as the exalted Grand High Witch in the children's classic, The Witches. And in a more adult setting, Houston plays a long-lost wife who discovers her husband as another wife and a mistress in Enemies, A Love Story. Angelica Houston, one talented actress, two great movies. Just one of three superstar double features. This month, only on Prism.
From the incredible imagination of Jim Henson and director Nicholas Rowe comes a fascinating new fantasy adventure. For when a little boy accidentally stumbles into their secret world, he finds they've got a lot more power than he ever imagined.
Grandma, it's me, Luke. Luke! They turned me into a mouse.
Oh, my...
Join Luke on his remarkable journey.
Bye!
Now, the witches are on his tail.
Whoa!
And he must scurry around their evil plots. Squeak past every danger.
Oh, no.
Finally setting the trap
Whoa, whoa,
that will save the world from the witches.
I want nothing but charmed people around me on this one, gentlemen, so bring your good luck stuff. Like this, Sarge? This is kidnapping, ain't it, Sarge?
Military court-martials are notoriously lenient.
My job, sir, was to kill communist aggressors, count the bodies.
Even if these four guys get convicted, they're not going to do any real time.
Somebody stumbles, they don't mean to shoot you, could get killed real easy.
Now, a man like you, wife, baby daughter, I'd be considering those factors very carefully.
You don't have to try and kill me, man. I told them. And they don't care! Everybody else is up for this! That's because each of us might be blown away. Everybody's acting like we can do anything, man. Standing up to me! You probably like the Army, don't you, Eric? This ain't the Army, Sergeant.
Stay tuned as Prism, your total entertainment channel, takes you on location to an interesting spot in Prism Country. It may look like an ad for a new Indiana Jones movie, but it's really an invitation to an adventure, a real-life adventure, deep inside a coal mine. To journey into the earth, you must first travel to McDade Park, high atop the mountains surrounding Scranton, Pennsylvania. There you will find the 190 slope, home of the Lacawanna coal mine tour. A small part of a larger mine, the 190 slope was opened in 1959 and abandoned in 1966. It remained closed until 1978, when the federal government and Lackawanna County began a restoration project that eventually resulted in the mine's reopening as a public attraction in 1985.
The biggest part of the restoration on the Lackawanna coal mine was the retimbering and clearing of the slope. The slope area is the entrance to the mine, and that was about 85% caved. What happens, they were holding up a lot of loose material with wood, and as the wood rotted away, the mine caved. Well, our biggest job was to load all this loose material out, retimber it with steel. That involved welding 10-inch steel I-beams, restoring the mine slope completely, installing new an electrical system, a new hoist, new cables, also installing 2 fans to ventilate the mine properly, and make this into a tourist attraction that was not only favorable but safe and meeting all the specs of the Pennsylvania Mining Code. As a tourist attraction, we also follow the same guidelines and rules as an active coal mine, And we are inspected 4 times a year by the state of Pennsylvania. So I have to pretty much run this operation the same, if not more, strict or more safe than an active coal mine.
The 1-hour tour begins with a 1,300-foot descent into the mine. An enclosed cable car makes the journey at a 25-degree pitch and ultimately takes you 250 feet underground. The end of the ride is the Clark Vein, the middle of 7 levels of mine shafts. The 3 levels below are flooded permanently. The 3 above are closed. The tour itself encompasses an area of only 1,300 feet, but once underground, you are part of the vast Lacawanna County coal basin, a mining region 7 miles wide by 33 miles long. The temperature inside the mine is 50 degrees year-round. It is always damp and dark. Electric lights have been installed for the tour, but visitors are reminded that miners only worked with the light from their headgear. Numerous exhibits in the mine illustrate what life was like for the miner. These exhibits recreate scenes from the past, display a wide array of modern and historic tools, and help to illustrate the dangers inherent in mining. Holes were drilled into the wall of the shaft. Explosive charges were set into the holes, and the charges were set off to loosen the anthracite coal.
Then the miner will come in with his safety lamp and he'll check the air for 2 kinds of gases. One is called methane, which is very explosive and comes from the formation of coal. It's tasteless, odorless, and lighter than air, usually found up near the roof. When you come into methane, the flame grows very large like you see here, which indicates methane gas. However, it will not cause an explosion with this particular lamp because this lamp is specifically designed to test for methane safely. A regular match or cigarette lighter or an open flame would cause an explosion in methane.
The unquenchable thirst for coal often forced the miners to use even more difficult methods of extraction.
Back where we began the tour in the Clark vein, it was 10 to 12 feet high. This particular vein here is only 30 inches high. They had a name for this type of vein. It was called a low coal vein or a monkey vein. If you worked on a monkey vein, you worked on all 4s. First thing you did in the morning was to strap your knee pads on to cushion and protect your knees. Then you went up in there, you drilled on your knees, came back down here and blasted, then went back up and loaded the coal on your knees into a machine like you see here called a shaker chute. This would shake the coal back and forth, make the coal slide down into the car waiting underneath. Now you might think it's rather low up there, only 30 inches high, but what would you think of a vein of coal 12 to 16 inches high? They worked in those also. They worked on their elbows, their sides, and their stomachs. Now you can see why so many of the old-timers that worked in these mines were so badly afflicted with arthritis and rheumatism. Always being wet, always damp, and always cold, it took its toll on their system.
Men, of course, were not the only ones subjected to these dangers. Before the days of child labor laws, children, some as young as 6, also worked in the mines. Exhibits remind the visitor of the youngsters who led mules or simply opened shaft doors for coal cars, often at the risk of their own lives. The tour also highlights the most historic element of the mine, the coal itself. Like all the coal extracted from the mine, this vein, the Dunmore No. 1 vein, is actually the remains of a forest that stood in this spot millions of years ago. Embedded and compressed between layers of sandstone, these fossilized remains became anthracite coal, the lifeblood of the entire region.
Our main goal, I feel, is very important as this. It's restoring and revitalizing and preserving a heritage. It was a way of life for 150 years in this area, and it's something that should not be forgotten. Probably if the Lacawanna coal mine was not here, we would not be showing people what their ancestors did for the last 150 years. And probably in a few years it might be someday forgotten. So we're trying to preserve a heritage, and we feel very strongly and we take it very seriously. Today we're in a very museum-oriented atmosphere, and why not be a coal mine tour? I mean, why shouldn't there be? We have farm museums, we have all types of train museums. I think anthracite, which founded this area, should be preserved as well as any other museum.
No writer better evokes humanity and passion than Nobel Prize-winning novelist Isaac Bashevis Singer. And no director is better suited to bring his characters to life than Paul Mazursky.
That's very good.
Mazursky has a unique talent for capturing the lives of people in a changing America. From Bob and Carol and Ted and Alice to An Unmarried Woman. From Harry and Tonto to Down and Out in Beverly Hills. Now Mazursky brings Singer's novel Enemies, a Love Story to the screen. The time was 1949, and post-war America was brimming with the promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
This is America.
Herman Broder had narrowly survived Nazi Germany. Whether he can survive the pursuit of happiness is another question.
I'm crazy, that's the truth.
Out of gratitude, he'd married Jadwiga, the family servant who risked her life to hide him during the war.
You saved my life.
But then he met the love of his life, the beautiful Masha, who made his life worth living.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
And just when he was getting the knack of balancing a wife and a mistress, his first wife, Tamara, who he believed was dead, reappears.
Wife has died. I didn't know that you were alive.
Mazursky's impressive cast includes Academy Award winner Angelica Houston, Tony Award-winning actor Ron Silver, Swedish star of The Unbearable Lightness of Being Lena Olin, and Polish stage and film star Margaret Sophie Stein.
I think it's very easy for a man to be in love with more than one woman. Not legally, and not usually, logistically, it's a tough problem. I mean, I would think it's a tough problem. I would not know, naturally.
How do you manage it? You rush from one to the other?
I do the best I can. Not so easy.
She's on to him. There's really no area at this point in which he can successfully hide the truth from her. And she's very canny.
Who's the lucky woman who's taken my place, Herman?
You know her, right? Jadwiga.
Wasn't she a little simple-minded?
With Jadwiga, there's a tremendous amount of gratitude. It's a very simple relationship. But Masha supplies the vitality. Masha is the passion. Masha lets him know that he's really alive.
When I read a script and I start to get curious, I want to know more, and your imagination starts to go, then there's something that's very alive in the script.
The script comes to life through the talents of director Paul Mazursky, who insists on the uncompromising detail necessary to recreate a time and place gone by. And knowing the characters are the heart of any film, Mazursky always elicits the kind of performances that have earned him a reputation as an actor's director.
My own way of working, which is one of the reasons actors like to work with me, is really there's nothing mystical about it. I rehearse for 3 weeks, and I do a lot of rehearsing, and I do a lot of probing. We have a lot of time before we ever get to the set to explore who these people are.
He directs in a very subtle way, because he doesn't come up and say, go here, go there. He makes you feel very free. He also makes you feel that you can do whatever gets into your mind. You can do it, you can try it, and it's never wrong.
One has the feeling on this film that it's the only film he's ever wanted to direct. And we're the only people he's ever wanted in it. And this sort of imbues us with confidence and power.
God! It's a ghost!
There was something about this story of a man with 3 wives that I thought was very funny and very powerful.
I'm not dead. I'm not alive and I'm not dead. I have no claim on him. He probably always loved you. I'm sure he slept with you before me.
Oh no. I was an innocent girl. I came to him a virgin.
Oh, congratulations. Men love virgins.
an enviable position to be in. How many people get the opportunity to do something like this, you know? It was kind of fun.
Marcia, you're the most beautiful woman at the party. And my friend Herman here, Peter.
He's hiding more than one.
You think so? With me, he always played the innocent lamb. I was beginning to believe he was a eunuch.
I wish I was such a eunuch.
He's funny. He's tortured. He doesn't know what to do. He's haunted. He has anger. He has passion. He has fear. He's human. It's a normal marriage.
This October, be sure to celebrate the holiday of horror with the Prism collection of monsters. We have flesh-hungry werewolves in Howling 5, rock and roll vampires in To Die For, blood-curdling demons in Exorcist 3, the holiday's favorite maniac in Halloween 5, a nest of extraterrestrial nasties in Aliens, and an underworld filled with monsters and beasts of no particular persuasion fighting for their very existence in Horror Master Clive Barker's Night Breed. It's a fiendishly horrifying celebration of Halloween this October on Prism, the channel with a better variety of monsters.
Here goes the neighborhood.